Major shakeups within the leadership of Bungie for the game of Marathon. In a recent Sony Entertainment presentation talks about, well, it sounds like there was a delay happening for sure, but not exactly what fans were hoping for. So if you want to know more, make sure to stay tuned throughout the whole video to understand all the details. It has not been easy going for the team working on Marathon right now, with the alpha being much more of a detriment to the entire franchise or the entire build of the game, and also the art debacle, which I think is really legitimately paused any form of true development for this game, and seems like it's caused a bit of a delay from Sony, but it's not exactly the length of time I think a lot of people were hoping for, because we all recognize that, yeah, Marathon needs some extra stuff. The baseline of the game is good, and there's something there to be said. It's just not ready for release, and we need at least a whole other year of development just to get this game up and running properly, to have the true vision of the game be out for people to enjoy. But it seems like we're not going to be getting that, and especially with the recent shakeups over at the leadership of Marathon. As reported here by Marathon Bulletin, that Julia Nardin, who was previously the narrative director, is now the creative director on Bungie's Marathon. She took over the role back in May of 2025. And you're probably like, that's a significant change. Like, who was the person who was previously doing it? Well, we all have seen and know this guy if you've been a Bungie fan for quite some time. Steve Cotton. Yeah, remember this guy? Part of like the original Marathon reveal that was taken down because it has Chris Barrett footage in it, you know? So he said he's no longer the creative director at Marathon, and they're unsure about his current position right now. That's the time of her making this video. And that's just a massive shakeup. Like, you're changing your creative director like less than a year before launch. Like, that's a red flag. That's not good. You don't want to see that happen. For some context, as someone who's followed Halo news for a long time, this completely reminds me of like right after the delay was announced for Halo Infinite, that the creative director Chris Lee reportedly resigned from 343, now Halo Studios, to show that like this is probably the kind of state Marathon is currently in right now. And that's very concerning, because a creative director is someone who's like hands-on with the game. They're the ones that are like driving the ship. They're conducting the necessary tests and processes to go forward, to move forward with the game. And when you're switching out creative directors months before the release of the game, that is incredibly concerning, right? Because obviously things have not exactly in the favor of Bungie. Bungie, I'm sure, and upper management at Bungie are probably not very happy with the current performance and reception that Marathon is getting, which does ultimately rely on the creative director, right? And so once that situation has an issue, well, then I think it's time to change up some new leadership to change out like what the vision of the game truly is. And keep in mind, they recently changed game directors to Joel Ziegler, where previously it was Christopher Barrett, but obviously Barrett had his own separate issues that they kind of had to let him go. And I reported on it previously what he did, and like, oh, it's just creepy and weird. But for all the drastic changes in leadership just in the last year or so when it comes to Marathon, it's just really concerning, because obviously the people at top, the directors and the creative directors, are the people who are leading the charge. They're the ones that have the vision. They're the ones that are going to be telling you like what to do and how to move forward. They're the ones that are going to make that change. Like apparently previously in development, that Marathon was supposed to be just kind of like a customizable soldier you can make out however you feel. And then apparently when Joe Ziegler moved in, they switched to much more of a hero shooter type of Apex Legends type of system. And I'm sure that was probably just to limit the amount of dev time needed to customize and balance everything properly. So you can just have these set classes to just get the game out. And it seems like that's kind of what's happening with the game right now. But that's not the only recent change in management when it comes to Marathon. Recently, they actually posted, it appears that they are looking for a new principal product manager. Again, months before the release of the game. This was confirmed through a LinkedIn post, which again, if you're looking for upper management type people to join the team literally less than a year before the launch of the game, man, I'm really concerned about Marathon. It's just, I don't really see how this game could possibly succeed, especially with the expectations that are set right now for Marathon. They are incredibly high, and I think almost too high for even the game, even if it was in the best state possible. Because it was reported by Paul Tassi right here that Sony expects Marathon to be a top 5 selling game. And I'm just hearing that, I'm like, I don't even think Marathon in its best situation could be a top 5 selling game. I think an extraction shooter might just be a little too niche for the general public, especially with the current systems at play right now and how Marathon actually plays out. It's especially it just needs more. It needs to be more exciting. It needs to be more engaging. And honestly, probably a little bit more casual, right? Because it's kind of like this awkward blend between like hardcore shooter, which is extraction, which is kind of, native to like that genre, but also a little too casual for those hardcore extraction players to really enjoy the game to its fullest. I like the game a lot. I do recognize that there was a lot of work that's needed to be done to get this game up and running at the time that to be in a state to be a top 5 selling game. But I think even in its best state, I don't even think a game like Marathon could be a top 5 selling game. Which then kind of leads us to our main story here, guys, of a report from Paul Tassi saying that Sony has strong Marathon engagement. It's strong, just maybe not for the reasons they're hoping for here, but also confirms a release window. And this is what I'm talking about. It sounds like it is actually being delayed, but not to the extent that I think a lot of people are truly hoping for. Which last we heard of Marathon was that the marketing plans for the game were apparently canceled for outside markets, right? Outside the US. Colin Moriarty, who reported on this, did eventually kind of talk and say like, well, this is for the outside markets. This might maybe not be concurrent when it comes to like the US markets and English and different types of European markets and things like that. But I think if you're canceling marketing in one section, you're probably canceling marketing in everything else. And reported here by Paul Tassi saying Sony's Holman Hurst, who is like the head of PlayStation Studios, took some time during his overview of the PlayStation offerings to single Marathon out as an innovative and bold take on the extraction shooter genre. I mean, he's not wrong about that. I mean, that's kind of accurate, I would say, but maybe not in the best way possible, really. But continues on here, saying that this was joined by a slide under the banner of FY 2025 Focus, which said there was strong and early engagement for Bungie's bold and innovative new title, which, yeah, people were definitely interested when the game first was revealed. There was a lot of interest. That's why people have been talking about it so much, because people care about Bungie. They want to see something like this succeed because it's so different and new, but yet familiar, but also everything that we've seen has been kind of like a bit major debacle. But an FY 2025 release is not good. That's not enough time for this game, right? Like even Joe Ziegler was saying that like, oh yeah, we have 6 months until the release. We have plenty of time to fix things up. Like, I think you're just trying to hype people up and let people not be concerned about the release of this game, because 6 months is not a lot of time. And it seems like they're getting a little bit of extra time, but I'm sure that's just because of the art debacle that's recently happened with Marathon. And I'm sure this extra time is really just a response to just the art debacle. Like we literally need to spend time clearing through every art asset of the game to make sure there's no copyrighted material or stolen art. Like, okay, that's a legitimate issue that will give you extra time. They just need to do that. And Paul Tassi clarifies the time frame within this article. If it's still fiscal year of 2025, that means you have to the end of March of 2026 to release this game. So not a full year that I think a lot of fans were really hoping for. I mean, for myself, I was like, yeah, it needs like at least another year of development time to add just some little extra sauce, a little extra pepper, a little extra seasoning to get the game up and running in a state that I think a lot of people will enjoy. And this slide that they shared within the presentation, I just found really just hilarious, honestly, at this point. That like I think they're kind of just like talking. I don't know what Sony's thinking right now, but they showcase like the live service build a foundation of strength and capabilities, right? Showcasing year by year, like every new like cool new different type of live service game. You have Marathon saying FY25, and then look, they still have Fair Games written up here as up and coming. If you guys don't know about Fair Games, I covered about it on my channel here earlier. They literally fired the head of the studio just like weeks ago after some internal playtests that did not come back positively. I would be shocked if Fair Games actually makes it to release. I mean, I know they put a lot of work. It's probably pretty close, probably within a year or two of being like a game that could be released. But like this, if you think that Marathon is going to be like the next Concord, wait until you see the launch of Fair Games, even if that actually happens. And the thing too is like, even if you do release like in March, right, give the team some extra time. Like honestly, that would be what? That'd be like an extra 5 months of development time given to Bungie to make Marathon. But again, the longer you delay, if you want to release in the early half of 2026, you're pushing close to Grand Theft Auto 6. And I think a lot of people are going to see that this game's probably going to release probably late March or something like that to get that extra time in. But then literally like 2 months later, you're going to have GTA 6 release, and people are going to be like, should I spend $40 on Marathon, or do I wait and spend possibly $80 is probably what the guess would be for Grand Theft Auto, which is going to be like a game of a generation. We can already tell from the trailers that we've seen, like even if it's not like as good as GTA 5, like come on, you got to admit that like GTA 6 looks pretty freaking amazing. That's why I was hoping that Marathon would get an extra year of development, right? Get away from that GTA 6 release window, let some time pass, wait for people who finish the campaign to then look for something new to play. And that's where, you know, Marathon can come in. Like, obviously two completely different companies and different types of players, but like GTA 6 is kind of a game for everybody, and you're going to see like an actual dip in like American GDP because of the release of GTA 6. It's going to be just absolutely massive. So with a new creative director, new product manager, and honestly a recent game director in the last couple of years, and the recent reception that we have for the alpha that I played a lot of, I put about 40, 50 hours into the alpha, that like, dude, it's not looking good for this game. I wish it was looking better. I want this game to succeed. I think there's something there. It's special and pretty fun to play. It's just not ready, dude. It's just not ready. And the recent discourse around like the art stealing and things like that, just like, it's an industry-wide debacle, man. And just, I just have high hopes. I hope so. I hope things turn around for this game. I hope when they come back and to see if they do like these kind of flights that that's been rumored to do and not really the full beta that they were planning to do in August comes around. I am a content creator for this game, so I'm sure I'll probably get some early access or get a chance to play any type of flight or builds that get a chance to come in. I'll definitely let you guys know my honest opinions about Marathon moving on in the future. But if you guys like this type of videos and made it this far, make sure to leave a like, maybe even a subscribe if you guys like so. And if you guys want to see some more content like this, let me know. And if you made it this far in the video, let's leave a yellow square in the comments to let me know who the real ones are to make it to the end, guys. But thank you all for watching. Greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.